So even Indian themselves, they are even like some of them, most of them, they have the degree, but they can't get job. They ended up doing other business. So if you don't have degree as a foreigner or Africa, it's not gonna be possible. It's not gonna be possible to be to get job in India. First thing, I feel like to go Australia, man. That's really that's for India. That is really a good payment. Let me be honest. Like you find people with PhD, they are getting less than what less than what you say.
Today's video is about India and Australia. On today's episode, we are going to be discussing and comparing the difference between living in India and living in Australia. My name is ZUZU and my YouTube channel is ZUZU LMTV. And I'm going to have this discussion with the one and only YouTuber who's currently living in India. His name is GABS GABI and his YouTube channel is GABS GABI TV. So without any further ado, let's get right into it. Hi guys, thank you so much for tuning in. On today's video, we're going to be doing a quick comparison. Hopefully it's not going to go for very long. So we're going to be comparing the difference between India and Australia. So on the right side of the screen, I've got GABS GABI. He's a YouTuber who lives all the way in India. So, and I live all the way in Australia. So without further ado, we're going to get right into it. I've got 10 questions that I'm going to be reading or asking GABS GABI, who lives in India, and he's going to be answering those questions. So if you are watching from India or from Africa, this content might be beneficial to you. So bear with us and watch until the end of the video. So the question, I'm going to quickly read out the questions that I'm going to be asking GABS GABI. The first question is about employment opportunities in India. The second question is about work and payments. The third question is about how to apply for a visa, and I'm not sure how GABS GABI arrived in India, so he might be able to explain to us and the easiest way to apply for an Indian visa. And question number 4 is just cost of living. Question number 5 is about education in India. If you are somebody who's living in Africa and thinking about moving and migrating to India for educational purposes, again, this content will be very beneficial to you. So question number 6 is just about immigrants living in India. I'm not sure the percentage of African people live in India, or if there is any African, or if there is any other foreigners, could be European and other immigrants living in India. So GABS GABI is going to be able to help us with all these questions. Number 8 is just about interracial relationship. If you are somebody who's thinking about, traveling, going to India for holiday or for marriage purpose, also bear with us and wait until we get to that question. Question number 9 is just about the weather in India. India is a very big country. I believe it's the 7th largest country in the world. Australia is actually the 6th. So, and I'm very sure there is different climates in India. I'm not sure GABS GABI will be able to answer those questions. Yeah, and the last question is just about the Indian food. What's the best food in India? What is the traditional food or the most eaten cuisine in India? So those are the 10 questions. So I'm going to get right into it so I don't waste everybody else's time. So without further ado, hi, Mr. GABS GABI, how are you?
Yeah, I'm fine, brother. How are you doing?
Yes, I'm very good. So you ready to answer all those 10 questions?
How is your continent? They said Australia is not a country. It's a country and continent itself. How is that?
Of course, Australia is the smallest continent in the world and the largest island. So it's an island, a continent at the same time. So yeah, I'm going to start with question number 1. Are you ready to answer those questions?
Yeah, I am ready. Hope you are ready too, because guys, we are going to do kind of comparing and sharing likewise both India and Australia, because in case if any other Indians or foreigners watching this video who would like to also travel to Australia, you will hear from my brother, and those who are interested to visit India, so you will also hear from me. So that is it. I'm ready.
Awesome. Let's just get into it. So I'm going to be reading from my phone all the questions. So the first question is about employment opportunities. Is it easy to get a job in India? And is it easy for foreigners? And is it easy for just in general the people living in India?
Okay, so like, can we categorize, like, let's say, with a degree or without a degree?
So yeah, with and without. So categorize it, yes.
Okay, so first I will start without a degree. Okay, like let's say you just came to India maybe as a tourist, you came for visit and you don't have degree and you're planning to get job in India, that is really gonna be hard. I'm so honest about this. Getting job in India without degree is very hard because we all know like India now is the first in population, like or it overtook China. I think it's 1.4 billion now. Yeah. So even Indian themselves, they are even like some of them, most of them, they have the degree, but they can't get job. They ended up doing other business. So if you don't have degree as a foreigner or Africa, it's not gonna be possible. It's not gonna be possible to be to get job in India. And in other hand, like let's say having a degree or BTech, whatever field you are, if you want to get job in India, possibilities there. But before coming to India, like you have to make sure to get like the work visa and work permit. Like let's say like you want to work with any oil industry. Before everything, before applying for the work visa, you have to get the work permit, and with the salary, that the expected salary you will be getting through all those documents, and the Indian government need it so that they will give you the visa, and you will get like they don't even give also like work visa to the foreigner who will be getting like cheap job here. So make sure like you are getting good job, and easily you will get like job. Yeah, it's possible with a degree to get job in India.
Thank you so much for answering this question. That's very informative, actually. So I will answer in behalf of like those people, or in terms of living in Australia.
Tell us, yeah.
Yeah, so in Australia, it's not that hard. It depends on the kind of job. Only certain jobs might require high qualifications, like degrees, if you want to work in the medical sector, for example. But most of the jobs in Australia, high qualification is not required. So unless if it is mandatory, like in the health sector, if you want to be a nurse, you want to be a doctor, you want to be a lawyer, those kind of professions obviously require you to have, if you want to be a lawyer in Australia. But if you just, most of the other jobs, if you want to be a big manager, could be a CEO of a company, some people that will just start small and that will keep going up until they get into that position with zero qualification.
That is the opposite of India here.
Yeah. So
they
in
need
Australia,
it's qualification to give you job, not only degree. At least you will be having like master in whatever course you did. Then you easily you can get job.
Okay, so I worked in Australia in the in retail, like in a supermarket, and you see the highest, biggest manager in the supermarket has zero qualification. The reason they're in that position, maybe because they started 20 years ago and they just keep going up. You see, so and that's the good thing about Australia. So not all the jobs, unless if you're going to work in the medical sector, certain jobs you will definitely need qualification. The other thing in Australia, we have what we call what's the word? I mean, it's like work experience, but in Australia, they call it apprenticeship. So if you want to be a mechanic, if you want to be a builder, those kind of stuff, so you can apply for what they call apprenticeship. So where you gain experience and then you can actually get a job.
Done online.
No, you have to actually apply in with companies to do apprenticeship. So they'll pay you, but they'll pay you minimum wages because you are only what's the word? You're a trainee. You're training. You see, you are not qualified. You are training to get qualified, and then after that, then you can
kind of internship.
Yeah, something. Yeah, it's of course it's similar to that. So, but in Australia, they call it apprenticeship.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay,
so yeah, only certain jobs require qualifications in Australia, not all the jobs. So if you are lucky, you can apply for work for the council, work for a lot of government job. You can just start small and work your way up. You gain experience, couple of years, and then you start moving up. So also the people who are watching this, if they want us to elaborate more, because we've only got a short time to explain everything, they can leave a comment on this video, and we can come back, me and Mr. GABS GABI, and we can do a separate video about a separate topic. If it could be employment, could be whatever. If you want us to explain more, we are more than happy to explain on a separate video. But so we don't go for too long. I'm gonna go for question number 2. So question number 2 is just about payment. Do Indian people pay weekly, every 2 weeks, or every month, and what is the minimum wages? Before you answer the question, I'm gonna just quickly give an answer about Australia. Here in Australia, most places pay people every week, and some pay every 2 weeks. So you don't get your payment, your salary every month. So it's either every week or every 2 weeks maximum. And the minimum wages in Australia is about 850 roughly. That's before tax. So after you pay your tax, 850 a week.
$800, right?
800 Australian dollars a week. So that might be about 850. So I would say about 600 US dollars.
Okay.
So, and that's a week. That's the minimum. You're not gonna get any paid any less than that. It doesn't matter where. Even if you do cleaning, you could be doing nothing. That's the minimum wages. So, and that minimum wages applies to people who work in the retail industry, and like if you work in a restaurant, things like that, you probably be on a minimum wages. But if you are working in a restaurant as a chef, you're going to be on a higher payment. If you are working in a supermarket as a manager, you'll be on a higher payment. But if you are just working in a supermarket as a cashier, you're going to be on a minimum wages, which is 850 Australian dollars a week. But that's before tax. After tax, you'll probably take home about 750 a week, because Australia, we pay a very high amount of tax. So this is the minimum wages. And then it depends. There are the jobs that pay more. Like in my sector, I work in the health sector. Obviously we get paid more than the minimum wage. So that's the answer. So
that's really interesting. I feel like to go Australia, man. that's for India. That is really a good payment. Let me be honest. Like you find people with PhD, they are getting less than what you say. So because of the population, that is what I say. So in India, mostly people who are paid monthly, like those people who are working with government, companies, and those who are paid like maybe like weekly or daily. Maybe you're doing other special, not a special like we can, other special job, like any part-time job. Let me say, sorry for that. That is part-time job. You will be paid according to your timing, whatever time. But mostly monthly, people get paid, and the minimum, the maximum wage is like it's range from 700 to 800 above, like from 700 USD dollar. This is the highest. Like I'm speaking, this is the highest. Most of the people like they are getting less, especially the local people, Indians. But for foreigners, minimum they are getting, for them like minimum they are getting like 700, 800 USD dollars above. This is the minimum.
Wow, interesting. Yeah, so the good thing about Australian payment is Australia is one of the highest paying countries in the world, but we pay high in taxes, and the cost of living is also very high, which is, we're going to get to it in a second. We're going to talk about the cost of living in Australia. So the question number 3 is applying for a visa. Is it easy to apply for a visa, or for a student? You're a student, right? You probably would have applied. Okay, so how what's the process of getting a student visa, working visa in India?
Are you going fast, or I should cover?
You can go and I'll explain.
Okay, applying for visa in India is a very simple process. Like it mostly depends on whatever type of visa you want. Like for me, I came India and I'm having 4 years now with a student visa. A student visa is also one of the easiest visa to get, as long as you have the admission letter from any Indian college or any Indian university. Once you have that visa, admission letter got accepted by any university or college, then you can use it as a reference wherever you are in Africa or any other foreign country. You can use it for getting visa, and it doesn't take that much time. It's easily given without like, once they have like some requirement as a student you have to give, and mostly like depending on the certificate. Just know once the college accept your admission, then done. You're done. You're going to get the visa within like 30 days. Easily you will get that. And another type of visa, like there's so many different type of visa: work visa, tourist visa, and they also have like visa which is given to sick people. I don't know how you call it. I just forgot it. Like how do you say that? Can you help me on that?
Visa given to what? To what people?
People who are coming for treatment. Like
okay, yeah, I know what you. Okay, I get what you mean. Yeah.
Yes, they also have different visa. Whoever is coming for treatment, you get according to that. So like the visa for tourist visa is the cheapest visa. Like for you, if you're planning to visit India anytime, it only costs you like to maybe like $30, less than that. I saw it was like $27. Like for multiple entry, it will take like 40 to 50 USD dollars only to visit India, and depending on whatever time, it's not that expensive. Yeah, very easy to get. You can do it online easily.
Okay, now awesome. When it comes to Australian visas, I haven't really done a lot of research, but I know we have Australia to come to Australia as a just for a holiday. It's easy, but easy for certain countries, like easy for Indian people, Sri Lankan, those South Asian people, and I think the entire Asian continent in general. It's very easy for them to apply for working visa, to apply for holiday visa, and to apply, I think, for like a spouse visa, those kind of countries. But for African countries, it's very difficult because I know a lot of people live in Africa, try to come to Australia, like from Sudan or from East African countries. It's extremely hard, almost impossible, unless those people have certain qualification. Because in Australia, they need people to work in the health industry, nurses. We have a lot of Indian that just apply for working visa from India. They come here as a nurse, they get the job immediately. So for them to get a working visa, it's not very hard, even for someone in Africa. But I've noticed the people who come from Africa to Australia as in a working visa, normally they come from Nigeria, Zimbabwe, and Kenya. Those three countries. I've never seen anybody in South Africa, but I've never seen anyone from let's say from South Sudan, let's say somebody from Egypt, which is also in Africa, or somebody from Congo, and all these kind of places. I think the process, I'm not sure what the process is. So I'm just sharing the information. I know the process is probably a lot difficult for those people, even though we have a lot of graduates in those part of Africa, but the process is not easy. But for people coming from Asia, especially India, it's very easy. Indian are probably the number one foreigners, or number two, maybe after Chinese, or number one. I'm not 100% sure. But the statistic is either number one or number two here in Australia. And all of them, 90% of them come into two kind of visas, working visa and the student visa. A lot of them come to study in the Australian universities. So yeah, that's the information that I know. But in terms of applying, how you apply for the visa, to be honest, I don't have a lot of information. I don't want to be sharing information that I am not 100% sure about. So
thank you.
Yeah, no problem. So we'll go to the question. Yeah, we'll go to question number 4, I believe, which is cost of living. And what I mean by cost of living is just accommodation, groceries, buying food, and that daily cost. Yeah, just talk about as much as you want.
Okay, fine. As you said earlier, India is a very huge country. Me, I prefer. I'm suggesting India actually to be a continent, because honestly, like India have very different state, and within the state you will find a totally different lifestyle, different language, different culture. Festival, no, not festival. Sorry, festival is all the same, but different language and lifestyle. Like when it comes into the cost of living, so obviously it's gonna be different depending on the state. Like mostly life is costly here in the big cities, like in the high-tech city. Like let me start mentioning by Delhi and Mumbai. This is where the most visited, like places where foreigners they come, and life is very costly there. Like in all behalf, even in food, grocery, you can say rent and everything. Even transport is costly there. It's not that costly, but there is so many means of transport. So it depends on how you will have to take it. If you want the cheapest, you will get the cheapest. If you want the highest, then it's gonna be costly. So like Mumbai, Hyderabad, Delhi, Bangalore, those are the the most costly state in India, and they all have different language and different lifestyle. So coming into the less costly state in India or cities in India, like you can get Varanasi, we have like Bihar, we have also in Andhra, there is some other state or district, Andhra Pradesh. They are less costly. Like where I'm staying in Andhra Pradesh, in a district, I mean in a city called Kakinada. Here life is affordable. Like I can say, like things are not cheap like all over India. And yeah, life is good actually in India. It depends on where you want to live. Depend on your budget, wages, then you can live wherever you want to live.
Okay.
That is it.
Okay, I'll just ask one question related to that. So roughly, what about the prices of accommodation? So renting and somebody, if somebody wants to buy, I'm not sure if you have any idea about yeah.
Okay, I'll
Like
give
renting.
between one like big city, like let's say I visit Mumbai and Delhi. So I'll start with Delhi. Delhi is one of the highest, like one of the costly city. Not Delhi, even say Bangalore. I visit Bangalore, like where people are paying for single room, only one bedroom. They are paying like 12,000 Indian rupees above. This is the rate. Like minimum is started from 10K above. 10K is like, let me say, here in India, $100 is like 8,000 rupees. So it is like in Bangalore, you have to pay minimum like $150 for rent for a single room only, single room.
Is that a week? Is that for 1 week or for 1 month?
No, I'm speaking of for the money of rent is paying monthly only here. The rent. Okay. This is only for the rent, house rent. Okay? In Bangalore or in Delhi or Mumbai, you have to pay for a single room minimum $100 or $150 USD dollar. So when it comes to where I'm staying or other state like I mentioned earlier, like Bihar and Varanasi, and where I'm staying, let me give example with where I'm staying. That is Kakinada in Andhra Pradesh. So I'm paying only like $50. It is only $50 per month for a single BHK. So
that's cheap.
for two BHK, you can pay like 80 above here in my place. You got it?
Yeah, I got it. So that's extremely cheap comparing to Australia. Like in Australia, to pay $50 a month, you'd most likely be living in the street for that amount. You'd be living in the street for that price. So the cheapest, I will just be real quick because I want to go to the next question. It doesn't matter where you live in Australia. You could be living in the bush. So the cheapest amount you would probably pay a month, and I would say it in US dollars, you would probably pay a minimum of, let's say, 400, not even, it's not possible to get it. So I'll say $400 a month.
For single or for two BHK?
That's probably not a bedroom. It's just going to be like, they call it a studio room. So you just walk in, the toilet is there, the kitchen is there, and you will pay that amount. So, but I live in a 2-bedroom. I'm not renting my property, but if I was renting it, this property will be 500 where I live. It's about 500. In US dollars, I would say $350 US a week. So so $350 a week, that's $700 a fortnight, every 2 weeks, and then $1,400 a month. So where I live, that's a 2-bedroom. We call it unit. It's just a 2-bedroom condo. So if I was renting this property, it will be about $1,400 US dollars every month. So
and let me also mention, like India, I told you, like India is like a continent. They say it's a country, but it's a like continent. Like you can find whatever type of a room, whatever type of a place if you want. It depends on how much. Like I'm just giving like a simple way or for other people so that if they're really thinking to come India, let them not lose hope, because they will find everything they want with whatever money they have. But if you want like kind of luxurious, it's also available. Like you will find in India the well-furnished home. You just need to come with your wife or whatever you only. Then you will be paying like from $500 above. Like everything is there. You will find everything is connected. The gas, the current, and everything is ready. You just have to come and stay. So such one, they are also so costly. And and the design, the decoration, and the furniture is so nice, like modern type. This is where you have to pay more. This is not for me as a student. I'm speaking as a student, so obviously I need somewhere affordable, not where luxurious. I'm not here with a working visa so that I can stay and where somewhere. I just want to stay where I can study nearby my college, and that is done. Enough.
Awesome. No problem. So we'll quickly go to question number 5. It sounds like we already answered this question. It's about education in India, high school, university course, and applying and enrolling at
The
university.
course,
So
right?
how much? Yeah, just education, and how much does it
This
cost to
is just
study in
briefly
India?
like for education. If you're coming for university here, minimum is start minimum college fee or university fees is start from $800 USD dollars to even 6K USD dollars. This is the rate only for studying in India. It depends on the place, on the city, on the university or the college you are coming. That is it.
Okay, just to be a bit more precise, if somebody wants to come to India to study, to do a 3 years degree for let's say nursing, that's going to take 3 years. How much would that cost?
Yes,
roughly?
3 years. I'm saying it depends on the state. We have India have so many states. Like like if you're going to the high-tech city, like the modern type city, you are definitely going to spend crazy. So if you are if the also it depends on the university, like high-rated university, then also there the fees is different compared to other small university. So minimum the minimum studied from 800. So for 3 years course is not that costly. You can get it from 800 up to 1,000 1K USD dollar. But some people are starting with $2K, 3K, 4K, and that is it.
And is that for everybody or for people? Do you have to have a certain a document like a visa? Okay. Is it for citizen or for anyone? That price?
Is it for
citizen?
No,
like
only
for India?
Foreigners.
Only for foreigners. Okay, so for citizen it's less than that.
India, let me be honest with you. Most of the foreigners, not only foreigners, like you will find like other neighboring countries of India, like we can say Nepal or Bhutan, they are also considered as international students in India. So they are paying same as African or other foreign student coming to India. They are paying so much. Like you will find some local student, like Indian student, they will be starting maybe with let's say, for example, they will be starting with $50, and you will find a foreigner starting with $500.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah. Depending. Okay. It all depends on the place, on the state, university, and the city. That is it.
Okay. I will answer in about Australia. Again, Australia is probably is the most expensive country in the world. So for people living in Australia, to do a degree, I will just use a nursing degree, for example, IT degree, for example, you would be looking for 15,000 US dollars. It doesn't matter which state. That's the cheapest, right? That's the cheapest. And say 15,000 US dollars. That's the cheapest, and it doesn't matter which state. You go to expensive universities, you're gonna pay more than that. Okay, so and that's for people living in Australia. So the only people who come to study here as foreigners is people who come from an extremely wealthy country, from India and China. They come to study in Australia, because for people who are not Australian citizen, I'm an Australian citizen myself, but for anyone who's not Australian citizen, you pay a minimum of 100,000 US dollars. 100,000 US dollars for somebody who's not an Australian citizen. So it's extremely expensive. I know a lot of Indians who studied here, but those people come from a very wealthy country, from a very family in India, background. And they come from a wealthy, some Asian come from a wealthy family in China. But I'm from just a normal person. It's impossible, even if it's impossible for us who are Australian citizens. But the good thing about those people who are Australian citizens, there is something that it's called HELP. It's not help as in you need help. HELP is an abbreviation, HELP. It stands for High Education program loan or something. So it's a loan that you get from the government to pay for your school fees, and then once you graduate, you go back to work, then you pay the government back.
Is it for foreigners also? Or
no, that's not for foreigners. So foreigners are not entitled. So that help thing is only for.
Do Australian also give a scholarship like here in India is available like every year?
So I'm not sure how it's called. I believe yes they do, but I'm just not sure how that works. So but they do give a scholarship. I'm not sure. I'm not 100% sure. That's something I might have to research myself. So
studying in Australia is extremely costly. That is why
it's almost impossible. It's extremely expensive. So the government only help the citizen. So they pay for your university, and it depends on your qualification. If you want to be a doctor, for somebody who lives in Australia, it might cost about 100,000 US dollars. That's for Australian citizen to be a doctor. So that's not for foreigner. For foreigner, it's going to be double that. Right, so
That's crazy.
Yeah, it's extremely
That's
crazy.
the
And even though you get the government benefit or the government support, but then when you pay them back, you pay back with interest. So if the government gave you $15,000, by the time you finish that payment, you pay with interest. So you end up paying back
yes.
maybe
Gonna
20,000, 30,000.
yes, yes, yes.
Yeah.
That's
So
crazy.
it's extremely yeah, it's extremely crazy. So so the
Okay.
question, now we are up to question number 6. So question number 6
Okay.
is about immigrants living in India. Is there a lot of immigrants living in India? Is there a lot of African living in India?
Honestly, it's not that much. There is only one group of people. They call them CDs. CDs people. They are
Yep.
the kind of old people who now they settle in India.
Yep,
Like
I know them.
yeah, you know them, right? They are
Yep.
okay. Their origin is from like Africa,
Africa.
also
Yeah.
Africa Bantu. That is the
Yeah.
only immigrant I know, and you can mostly find them in a state called Gujarat and Karnataka. Yeah, that is it. Like they are not all over India, and they are living a better life now. They have their own right, and they are living like they also speak
Okay.
Hindi, so they are considered as a citizen.
Indian.
Yes.
Okay. I saw in one of your videos, and I think it was at your university, there was a
Mm.
lot of African people, and I think there was some Sudanese as well. And so there are some other Africans, right? Or just
That's
not?
not the place. I'm actually planning to visit this place maybe before I leave India. It is in Gujarat.
Okay.
Yeah. They see these
Okay.
people, they are not like they look they look like African, but they are kind of Indian type. They speak Hindi
Yeah.
only.
Yeah, yeah, I saw them. I saw those people. So, but what I mean is there African people like at your university where you studied? What there are a lot of African, like Nigerian,
Yes, yes,
Zimbabwe,
yes.
Sudanese? There is a
Yes,
lot,
so
yeah?
many. I have so many videos with
Okay.
different Africans. Yeah.
Okay, so there is okay. What about other immigrants living there or studying like European or other Asian like Chinese? Is there a lot or you don't see many?
No, 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 no. I don't think it's there. I don't think. I don't think. I don't
Okay.
think. Honestly, if you are Indian watching this, let me know. It's
Okay,
only I
no
know about
problem.
CDs. This is the famous immigrant here in India. Other than this, I
Okay.
don't think.
No problem. So now we're up to question number 7. So we are closing up to number 10, almost there. So question number 7 is just about Indian marriages. I've heard that in India, it's like we are both from South Sudan, and South Sudanese we pay when we get married, we pay dowry to the girl's family. But in India, I heard it's the other way around. That
Yeah, it's the opposite of that. Like
okay,
not all over the India. Like most, like let's say, like the Hindu people, Muslim people, and yeah. So like here, there in Hindu traditional, like a man, the lady is the one have to pay. She has to pay, and obviously she's going to choose a rich man. So mostly here they go for a man who is working. If you're having government job here in India, so just expect some crore from a lady. They will pay you that money, and they will make the marriage. But in other places like Northeast India, in Northeast India, the marriage is free. Like you just, if you find a girl where she love, both of you fall in love, and the family are okay with that, you just make the marriage. There is nothing called dowry. Yeah, most of the tribe in India also they do the same. Yeah.
okay. No problem. In Australia, obviously, it's a Western world. There is no such thing. Most European or Caucasian people country, there is no such thing as dowry. I believe that thing is being kind of eliminated a long time ago. I believe they used to have similar custom tradition back maybe a couple of 100 years ago, but today there is no such thing as dowry. If somebody wants to marry a white woman, no dowry or things like that. So question number 8 is interracial relationships. So do Indian women marry other foreigners, or do Indian men marry outsiders, or is it easy for a foreigner to marry an Indian woman, or to even date, just dating?
Okay, let me be honest. Like it's possible, it's happening, and it's always easy when you meet the Indian like outside the country. It's gonna be easy. Like most, it happened. Mostly it happened from outside, but within this country itself, you need to show a lot. Like it's not easy. It also depends like according to the religion, to the tribe, and to the place. Like it's not easy. Like to be honest, it's not easy when I said Hindu, like I'm just guessing, but it's I'm seeing it's a little difficult to marry a Hindu girl as a foreigner. Only if you are Hindu. I'm saying that is very easy to happen, and not easy only because of marriage, because of what you do. If you are a wealthy man, maybe you have good job, and you are Hindu, maybe from foreign country, and you are also planning to settle in India, then they give. Other than this is not easy. But in other tribe like Muslim or Christian family, yeah, it's happening easily. It's happening easily. But you need to stay in India for some time. Yeah, you need to have good job, and yeah, it's possible.
Oh, I was gonna ask you a direct question, but you can answer me off camera.
I know what you are trying to say. You can write
Okay,
in the chat.
we'll answer. We'll talk about that when we turn off the camera. So
That one, it will be later. We'll talk about it.
so in Australia, it's very easy. I know a lot of people who are actually a lot of African people, especially African and Sudanese people are number one who are engaging in this interracial marriage. I don't see a lot of Indian. I've been in Australia for 19 years, and I've only seen maybe one or two Indian who are married to Australian or to white people. I haven't seen many. Probably the reason is just not as much, but I've seen a lot of African people, and Sudanese are number one. Like I said earlier, Sudanese are the number one Africans here in Australia, and there is lots of Sudanese girls married to white men, and a lot of Sudanese men married to white women. So, so interracial marriage is something normal here that a lot of people do. So, question number 9 is just about the weather. What's the weather like in India?
Okay, weather depend also in the state. Like, yeah, if you want the coolest weather, very cool weather, we'll start with Kashmir and Manali. Those places you will find snow, not even cool. Like you'll find snow. Those are the very amazing and beautiful, most visited place by the foreigners. And other state, like mostly we can say like South India, both South India and North India, it used to be extremely hot, depending on their weather forecast. That one I can't predict, but like in this year, I'm speaking honestly, in this year, people suffer a lot in not Andhra Pradesh, in both North and South India, because the weather was extremely hot to the extent they gave holiday to the student not to go college like some days, because it was totally like they will even send message to your phone, don't go out from this time to this, like it's gonna be like heat, super heat. And when at the same time when it start getting cool, so it will be like damn cool. But you know, people love coolness, so that is it. It depends on the places and on the state.
So India does have all the 4 seasons, like summer, winter, autumn, spring, all the 4 seasons. Okay,
but it varies depending on the state.
Okay, I guess Australia is the same. The majority of people in Australia living in the eastern part of Australia, they call it, just people say the East Coast, where Melbourne is, Sydney, and Brisbane. You would have heard of those states. Those are the most popular cities in Australia: Melbourne, Sydney, and Brisbane. And all those 3 cities are in the western part of the continent. And then when you go to the northern part, which is where I live, I came from Melbourne, which is in the East Coast, but I live now in the north for work purpose. And up in the north, it gets extremely hot. So a lot of people would say, if you find an Australian person in let's say in India, you ask them about the Australian weather, most likely they're going to tell you it's cold. The reason they will tell you it's cold because the majority come from the east coast of Australia, and the east part of Australia is always it's always extremely cold. So they have more rainy season and cold season more than summer. But where we are up in the north, it's always hot and humid. And if you go to the capital of the northern part of Australia, it's called Darwin. They don't have winter there. They don't have cold. It's just hot and humid all year round. Even though when it rains, it's always very hot. And the western part of Australia, again, it's extremely hot. So it depends on where you are in Australia, just like how you said about India. If you're in the western part of Australia and the northern part, very hot. If you go to the eastern part, which is where most of the people live and where they came from, where all the Indian, the African, everybody's on the eastern part of Australia, that part is very cold. So most people will tell you Australia is cold because they've never been to the northern part and they've never been to the western part. They live there. They don't even know the northern part of Australia. So when you ask them, they'll be like, oh, Australia is cold. No. Where you came from is cold, not the entire continent.
Okay, okay,
So,
got it.
I'll
Still
go to
there.
the last questions, which is
Mm.
now it's just about the Indian food. What's the most popular food in India? I'm just curious right
Okay,
now.
the most okay, Indian they eat according to the meal, like breakfast, let's say breakfast or lunch. Like okay, they have variety of popular food. India is like spiciest country.
Yeah.
They love what they call spicy kind of masalas. So let me start with breakfast. the most the most consumed breakfast here is something they call idli. We have idli. It's kind of a white round thing like this. They eat with white chutney. Also, they call it like white chutney is made from coconut. So with other masalas, we have idli. Those are the breakfast I'm mentioning. Breakfast idli,
Okay.
dosa, and we have gari, bonda, and dosa. Those are the most consumed breakfast in all over the India. You will find it. So going to other food, the most popular food, if you want to know, it is biryani. They call it biryani. It's kind of a
Yeah.
rice mixed with chicken, like yeah.
Okay.
So
Chicken
so it's
biryani.
also vary on how they cook it depending on the state. Some they love it spicy, they put so much of it spicy and chili. Other people they put less. So but they call it biryani. And they also like have the butter chicken and South Indian dish. So many are there. Yes.
Nice.
But Indian they
So
love it spicy. This is only unique thing about India from
yeah,
other countries.
I love spicy food as well. I don't know about yourself. You love spicy
Just
food?
come to India, you will be eating and sweating.
Yeah, yeah. Even I cook with the spicy, and now yeah, I eat a lot of spicy food. But yeah, when it comes to Australian people that don't Westerners, they don't have a lot of food, and I don't want people to bash me on the comment section. I prefer, even though living in living in Australia, I eat a lot of Indian food in Australia more than Australian food. I would prefer to go to Chinese Indian restaurant because Australian food I just find it very plain. But the most popular food in Australia is steak. Steak is just meat. They normally have that on the weekend, on the day off.
How
They
do
like
they
to have
call
a
it? The
steak.
full name?
Steak, Steak.
Steak. Okay.
Steak, yeah, Steak. So
Steak.
it's
Okay.
just a
They
piece of
eat
meat.
it with bread or rice.
Australian people are not a big fan of bread. They eat meat by itself, or sometimes chips on
Okay.
the
Okay.
side. Yeah, or with
Okay.
chips. Yeah, chips on the side, or they have what they call mashed potatoes on the side. So the other thing is they have what they call chicken parmigiana.
Mm.
I'm happy to put the pictures on the screen.
Okay, you can put
so
the picture. And just know Indian, like most of Indian, they are vegetarian, they are veg type. And they love
yeah,
eating rice, like because the country produce rice like so easy and it's very cheap. So every home, even my home as African, I'm not a big fan of rice. But when I
yeah.
came India, wow, I'm now getting big stomach because of rice everywhere. Rice is something compulsory you will find in every home in India, and most of Indian they are veg type, like they love eating veg. They can also eat like chicken and other seafood. Yeah.
Okay, nice. So, and yeah, with Australian breakfast, everybody probably knows what it is: just bacon and eggs, and that's what they call English breakfast. And the reason they call it English breakfast is because most of the Australian people or the American they came from England, and that's where this kind of food started. And today, it's Australian breakfast. It's just bacon and eggs, and they have some kind of potatoes they call hash brown. But yeah, bacon and eggs is extremely popular in Australia, in all the English countries. So even when you look on the restaurant menu, sometimes they have it's called English breakfast. And if you just get English breakfast, it's just bacon, eggs, and sometimes they have what they call sausages, this kind of stuff. So those are the popular food in Australia. So English breakfast is just for breakfast. Obviously, the word breakfast is there. So that's what most of them like to have for breakfast. And then yeah, for any other time, lunch, dinner, they have like I said, they like to have steak, chicken, parmigiana, lamb shank, which is all meaty meat product, and they normally eat it with chips on the side and things like that. But yeah, that's the last question for the for this video.
Yeah.
We actually went for longer than we have expected, 45 minutes, which is okay. So I'm gonna end the video right now. I'm not sure if you have anything to add before I
Yeah, I
end
just
this.
want to tell all the viewers, whether you are watching from India or Australia or wherever you are, whatever topic you would love us to go deep on it, drop the comment down. We'll share more. We just went briefly, and that is it, guys. Feel free, drop your comment. And make sure to, or if you're watching from my channel also, because I'm going to share like little footage of this video, make sure to visit my brother also and show him some love and share your experience with us. We are not perfect. In case we spoke something wrong here, you can correct us. We were just sharing our experience as foreigners. Yes, as foreigners abroad.
Thank you so much, Mr. Gabs Gabi. And before I go, I just want to say thanks to Gabs Gabi for taking his time to do this video with me. And also I want to say thank you to anybody who's watching. Yeah, if you are watching from India, Australia, or Africa, or any part of the world, if you do find this content very valuable, please do share it, do
and
like it.
Let them suggest other things they would love us to cover also.
Awesome. So yeah, as you heard, Gabs Gabi definitely suggest us if you've got anything, any topic you want us to talk about, whether it's about India or about Australia. And don't forget to subscribe to my channel and subscribe to GABS GABI TV. So this is the end of the video. I'm going to end it. Thank you so much, guys. Thanks.
How do you say? Okay.
Huh?
In India, they say Jaya Hind. Jaya Hind. How do you say in Australia?
Oh, in Australia, we just say have a good one or have a nice day or have a good time.
In our country, South Sudan, they say Spelewe. Here, they say
I'm not sure if they have something like that in Australia.
Okay, whatever. Jaya Hind, Jaya Africa, Jaya Australia. Thank you so much.
No problem.
Yeah,
Thank you so much.
Like the video, guys. Share.
No, it's peace out, man.
Peace out. Thank you.